The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization estimates it takes roughly 17 acres to feed one person using industrial farming methods. 17 acres. That number gets repeated constantly, and it is the reason most people assume real self-sufficiency requires a rural property they will never afford. Here is the number that actually matters. In 2011, Russian government statistics found that Dacha garden plots, most of them under half an acre, produced 40% of the entire country's food supply on 3% of its arable land, 80% of the fruit, 66% of the vegetables, nearly half the milk, not from industrial farms, from half-acre plots run by families. The 17-acre number is not wrong for a commodity monoculture operation growing wheat and corn for a global export market. It is completely irrelevant to a family trying to feed itself using intensive integrated methods on their own land. Half an acre, 21,780 square feet, is the exact threshold, where a homestead stops replacing groceries and starts achieving real multi-category self-sufficiency. Not partial, not seasonal, multi-category. Calories, produce, dairy, and expanded protein all at once, all on one lot. By the end of this video, you will have the zone-by-zone layout that makes that threshold real, including the one capability that a quarter-acre simply cannot support under any configuration: a dairy animal producing milk for your family every single day. Here is what is actually happening to people who scale up from a quarter acre, and I want you to recognize this pattern before it happens to you. They already have the garden working, they already have chickens, they get more land, and they get excited, and they add a dairy goat, a pig, a grain plot, and a pond all in the same season, scattered across the property with no relationship to each other. 18 months later, they are exhausted. The goat pasture is a mud pit because nobody built a sacrifice paddock. The pig is eating pure commercial feed because nobody planned its rotation, and the grain plot produced a beautiful stand of wheat that is still sitting in a bucket because nobody accounted for the labor of threshing and winnowing it. That is not a land problem. You have 21,780 square feet sitting right there. That is a sequencing and integration problem. And it is the single most common failure I see over and over when homesteaders try to jump from a quarter acre to a half acre. This is not a personal failure, and I need you to hear that clearly before we go any further. Every homesteading resource that talks about scaling up focuses on what you can add. More animals, more beds, more structures. Almost none of them talk about how those additions have to connect to each other, because a disconnected list of upgrades sells more feed, more fencing, and more equipment than an integrated system does. A half-acre run as 5 separate hobbies costs a fortune and burns you out in 2 years. A half-acre run as one closed loop, where the goat's manure feeds the pasture that feeds the goat, where the pig's rotation clears the ground the garden will use next season, where kitchen waste and garden waste both route to the same compost system, is the difference between struggling and thriving on the exact same square footage. The proof this works is not theoretical. During World War II, more than 20 million American families grew food on small plots. And by 1943, those gardens produced 42% of all the fresh produce consumed in the entire United States. In Britain during the same period, allotment gardens scaled up so aggressively under the Dig for Victory campaign that by the war's end, roughly 70% of Britain's food was grown domestically. And in 19th century England, the political slogan was literally 3 acres and a cow, a demand invented in private letters in the early 1880s, and turned into a national campaign by the politician Jesse Collings, who became so associated with it that he was known for the rest of his career as 3 acres and a cow Collings. That demand was not empty rhetoric. It was written directly into the Small Holdings and Allotments Acts of 1892, 1908, and 1925, because 3 acres and 1 dairy animal was recognized by the British government itself as the baseline unit of family food security, a legal standard, not a slogan. Modern intensive methods have compressed that historical 3-acre baseline down to half an acre or less. The land was never the limiting factor, the method was. Subscribe right now because what comes next is the exact zone layout, and the math behind it is the part almost nobody shows you. Here is the caloric math that makes this real, and I want to walk through it carefully because this is the number that should change how you think about your own property. John Jeavons, who developed the bio-intensive growing method over 5 decades of documented trials, has shown that a complete year of calories for one adult can be grown in 6 beds, roughly 600 square feet, using deep-dug, intensively spaced beds rather than conventional row spacing. A full mixed diet, including vitamins, minerals, and a small margin of income crops to sell, takes about 40 beds, roughly 4,000 square feet per person. For a family of 4, that is 16,000 square feet total. A half-acre gives you 21,780 square feet, and after house, driveway, and the dead corners every lot has, you are realistically left with 13,000 to 15,000 usable square feet. That is tight, genuinely tight, but workable for calorie self-sufficiency alone before you even add the protein and dairy zones that only a half-acre uniquely allows you to run at the same time. At intermediate bio-intensive yields, 100 square feet of potatoes can produce around 70,000 calories in a single growing cycle, which is more than a week of full caloric needs for one adult from a single small bed the size of a kitchen table. Wheat produces far less per square foot in comparison, so the smart allocation, and this is Jeavons' own rule from decades of yield data, is 60% of your growing space in carbon and calorie crops, 30% in calorie-dense roots, and only 10% in the vegetables that people instinctively plant first and that actually contribute the least to real food security. Now the zone layout, the actual physical map you are going to build this onto. Zone 1 sits within 30 feet of your back door. Intensive kitchen garden, herbs, salad greens. The beds you visit every single day without thinking about it because proximity is what keeps a bed harvested instead of forgotten. Zone 2 is your main production area, the bio-intensive calorie beds, your compost system, your poultry run, berries, and a dwarf orchard planted at 8 to 10 foot spacing. On a half-acre, you can fit 15 to 30 dwarf fruit trees in this zone alone, which is a genuine step up in both variety and volume from what a quarter-acre ever allows. Zone 3 is where the half-acre earns its name and where the entire self-sufficiency claim actually lives. This is your dairy paddock, a small grain plot, an expanded protein station running pigs alongside your poultry. And if your water table supports it, a pond for irrigation storage or small-scale aquaculture. Zone 4 and 5 sit at the property edge, a coppice hedge of willow or mulberry that doubles as animal fodder and light kindling fuel, and a pollinator strip that keeps your orchard and garden producing at full capacity. Here is the capability that only becomes possible at this scale. Dairy. A pair of dairy goats needs roughly half to 3/4 of an acre of rotated pasture, and one dairy goat in milk produces about a gallon a day. That alone replaces a meaningful share of a family's dairy bill. If you want to go further, a Dexter cow, roughly a third the size of a Holstein, has been documented living on half an acre split into 2 rotated fields, producing 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons of milk a day across a 10-month lactation. I want to be honest with you here. Half an acre for a cow is the bare minimum, and it only works with heavy hay supplementation, excellent pasture management, and a dedicated sacrifice paddock for wet weather so your animal is not standing in mud all winter. If that sounds like too much for your first year at this scale, goats are the safer default, and most homesteaders should start there. The next new capability is expanded protein, and this is where most people get the sequencing backwards. A Kune pig, the smallest true grazing pig breed in existence, can live almost entirely on pasture and needs about 1/6 of an acre per animal with proper rotation. An American Guinea hog forages so efficiently that 3 adults on good pasture need only about 50 pounds of supplemental grain a month combined, which is a fraction of what a commercial breed would eat in the same space. Neither pig needs its own dedicated acreage carved permanently out of your half-acre. The correct move is to sequence its rotation to follow the dairy paddock and the garden beds directly. So the pig clears brush, roots up old plant material, and adds manure exactly where your next planting will go. That is integration, not addition, and it is the single biggest difference between a half-acre that thrives and a half-acre that exhausts its owner within 2 years. The third new capability is a real grain plot. 1,000 square feet can produce roughly a bushel of wheat, about 60 pounds of grain, enough for around 90 loaves of bread. A 2,000 to 4,000 square foot plot gives you a genuine, if partial, flour and animal feed supply. I need to flag the mistake almost everyone makes here. Growing the wheat is the easy part. Threshing, winnowing, and milling it by hand is the labor wall that defeats most first-time grain growers. Budget real time for processing, not just planting and harvesting, or that beautiful stand of wheat becomes a bucket of guilt in your shed. One capability that does not survive contact with the math, a fuel woodlot. A managed hardwood woodlot sustainably yields about half a cord to 1 cord per acre per year. On half an acre, that is a quarter to half a cord annually, against the 3 to 5 cords an average home actually burns in a season. It does not work at this scale, and I would rather tell you that now than let you plant 15 trees for firewood and find out in year 5 that you are still buying every log you burn. What does work at this scale is a small coppice of willow or black locust for kindling and rocket stove fuel, and that coppice doubles as your animal fodder hedge. Water and power both scale comfortably at half an acre, and this is genuinely good news because it means you are not fighting your infrastructure at the same time you are fighting your learning curve. A roof of 1,500 to 2,000 square feet in a region with 30 to 40 inches of annual rainfall collects somewhere between 28 and 50,000 gallons a year, and even at realistic capture efficiency of 75 to 85%, that is enough stored water in a cistern system to carry a half-acre garden through a genuine dry spell without touching a hose. A typical home uses around 10,500 kilowatt hours a year and a 7 kilowatt solar system, which needs roughly 400 square feet of unshaded roof space, comfortably offsets most or all of that annual usage. Roof space is the actual constraint here, not lot size, and a half-acre homestead with a normal house footprint almost always clears that bar without issue. Which means water and power independence should not be the thing keeping you up at night as you plan this build. Your rainwater cistern is carrying the garden through the dry weeks without a single trip to the hose. I want to tell you about my own first attempt at scaling to half an acre because I made almost every single mistake I just described to you in the exact same season on the exact same property. I added a goat, a pig, and a grain plot in the same spring in 3 completely different corners of the property with no relationship between any of them. By July, the goat paddock was a mud disaster because I had never built a sacrifice area. The pig was eating full-price commercial feed because its pen was nowhere near my kitchen scraps or the garden beds it should have been clearing. The wheat sat cut and bundled in my garage for 6 weeks because I had budgeted 0 time for threshing it, and by the time I got to it, some of the grain had molded. I had more land, more animals, and the exact same stress level as my quarter acre, just spread over a bigger area. The following winter, I redrew the entire layout as 1 loop instead of 3 separate projects. I moved the pig rotation to follow the goat paddock, feeding on what the goats left behind, and clearing ground for the next season's beds. I built the sacrifice paddock before I ever needed it. I planted the grain plot smaller and scheduled the processing time on the calendar before I even planted the seed. Same half-acre, same animals, roughly the same total cost, and a completely different result because the land was never the problem in the first place. The layout was. Before you start moving fence posts, here are the 5 mistakes that will sabotage a half-acre build faster than any other scale, because the mistakes at this size are more expensive and harder to undo than the mistakes you made at a quarter acre. Mistake 1, overextension. adding dairy, pigs, and grain all in your first season instead of stabilizing your garden and poultry core first and layering in the bigger commitments one at a time. Mistake 2. Stocking a cow or even a goat pair on half an acre without budgeting real hay money, because pasture alone at this scale will not carry a large animal through every season. Mistake 3. Skipping the sacrifice paddock, which is the single fastest way to destroy your pasture and your animal's health in one wet season. Mistake 4. Ignoring drainage. More animals and a bigger roof catchment area create mud and runoff problems that simply do not exist at a quarter acre, and you have to plan swales and drainage routes before you stock the paddocks, not after. Mistake 5. Underestimating grain processing labor. Threshing and winnowing by hand takes real scheduled hours that most people never actually put on a calendar. And unprocessed grain sitting in a bucket in your garage for 6 weeks is calories you grew, harvested, and then quietly lost to mold and neglect. Picture your half-acre 18 months from now running as one loop instead of 5 separate hobbies. The dairy goats are rotating through a paddock with a proper sacrifice area, and their manure is already composting into next season's calorie beds. The pig has cleared and fertilized the strip that will become your expanded grain plot. 15 dwarf fruit trees are established along Zone 2, coming into their 3rd year of real production. Your family's dairy bill has dropped by half. Your produce and calorie crop grocery spending is a fraction of what it was 2 years ago. You are not at 100% self-sufficiency, and honestly, you never fully will be, because salt, cooking oil, and some portion of your grain will likely always come from a store, no matter how well this system runs. But you are somewhere between 75 and 90% of the way there, on 21,780 square feet, using math that was proven on Russian Dachas producing 40% of a nation's food, in wartime allotments that fed entire countries through years of blockade, and in a 19th century law that guaranteed 3 acres and a cow to any working family that wanted one. You just achieved the same standard on half that historical land allotment, using a fraction of that century's manual labor, because you built one integrated system instead of 5 disconnected projects competing for your time. Drop a comment right now and tell me which zone you are building first: the dairy paddock, the grain plot, or the expanded orchard. I read every single one, and I will answer you directly, and I will pin the best answer so the rest of the comments can build off it. If this layout changed how you see your half-acre, subscribe and hit the bell, because every week I break down another real system built for real land, not fantasy farms nobody actually owns. Next video, I am walking you through the exact rotational grazing schedule that lets a dairy goat, a pig, and your garden beds share the same half-acre without a single wasted square foot or a single day of overlap. You need that one before you put in a single fence post. Your half-acre was never too small. It was just waiting for the right loop to run through it.